I'm back with some more Bannerlord, and today I'm going to be taking a look at a troop overhaul mod that was recommended to me by Benjamin. As I've said before, if there's any mods you recommend and want me to check out, just leave a comment and I'll get around to checking them out. But this mod, it's called Blood, Shit and Iron. And the aim of the mod is to overhaul all the troop trees so they fit with an 11th, 12th century theme. At the moment, the mod overhauls the 6 main factions, so Vlandia, Battanian, Empire, Khuzait, Aserai, and Sturgia. And I believe they're in the process of reworking all the minor ones, so like Sea Raiders, Looters, and everything like that. Let's jump in and take a look at the new troop trees. So if we start off with Vlandia, since it's top of the list, you can see that the old Vlandian troop tree is still in the game. And then you can see, so we've got the crossbow, the infantry, some cavalry. And if we take a look at some of the top tier units, so you can get a gist of what base game Vlandia looks like. But if we go back to the units now, you'll see these new tag units. So I'm guessing I is for infantry, C for cav, A for archer. But if we go to the new recruit, so that's your new tier 1 recruit. And then here we've got the crossbows. You can see every unit it's got its own unique name. And going through it, you'll notice the designs, they don't vary too much. So it's worth noting that this mod, it's a pretty small update. So what I imagine they've kind of done mostly is used built-in game assets and just like shuffled them around a little bit. So there's no like big armor mods or anything in this. And you got some cavalry. And then also you have some infantry then. But as you saw, as I showed the base tree and this tree, they are pretty similar. It's just the whole they want it to look like late 11th century. You also have the main cavalry line. So this would be like the noble cavalry has also been revamped. So here you can see the Banner Knight, which would be the top tier Vlandian cavalry, compared with the new top tier cavalry. So next up we got the Sturgian troop tree, and this is the base game one. You can see that we got an archer line. We also have cavalry, a two-handed infantry, and then an axeman and a spearman. If we jump into the new troop tree now, so you can see we still have the archers. You'll tend to notice the armor looks a lot more generic. The helmets sometimes look a little bit fancier, like you saw in the Swardian one where they got the full face frontal helmet. And I'd imagine back then armors would have been pretty expensive and only certain people would have had full plate and stuff. Those that were important or those that could afford it and stuff. Here we got some cavalry. Although it doesn't start with a C, it starts with a H. I don't know. H for horse, I guess. Then we got this skirmisher line. I'm guessing what the S stands for. Dude's just packing 10 harpoons. Then this would be the two-handed infantry line. And again, it's like there's not over-the-top armors. It's quite general looking. There's no assets to overhaul these fully. Looks like it's just done entirely with in-game stuff. So we do have a cavalry. Then we have a cavalry here. But this is a skirmish cavalry. And this is just a normal cavalry. Hence the C and the H, I guess. And then we have a spear infantry. So actually they've removed, what it looks like they've done is in this troop tree, it looks like they've removed the axemen, the one-handed shield infantry, and replaced them with a skirmisher unit. Now here we have a infantry line. This would be like the equivalent to like the Vlandian noble line sort of thing. And goes down to tier 6. And they're all one-handed shields. Except this guy happens to also be packing a two-handed and an axe. Well, throw-in axe. So next up we got the Khuzait. This is the vanilla troop tree. Again, it's what you expect to see. It is the base game troop tree. And if we take a look at the new one, it's a pretty similar layout where it splits into the cav and the infantry. And you see this is the new infantry line. This is the new ranged infantry. Cavalry. So this is the melee cavalry. This is the ranged cavalry. They've also tinkered a little bit with the infantry lines. And you also have the archer line that's changed with the equipment and stuff. There is a few other troop trees in the Khuzait. You got this Tarkan line. This is entirely cavalry. You got choices. When you want to just jab someone, you can pull out your lance. When you want to swing and slice them in half, you pull out your glaive. And then when you want to just cave their skull in, just pop out a mace. A tool for all the jobs, eh? We also have this line, which looks to be entirely just one-handed shields. And the armor here actually looks pretty nice. And then again, we have another line here, actually. So here you got a skirmisher. Comes with an axe shield. Javelins. Look at those javelins, man. And then on the other side, then you have a war spear with a reinforced kite shield. So next up, we got the Imperial troop tree. We take a look at the normal troops. You'll see most of them. So the infantry have this kind of like plating style with a generic helmet. And the ranged and the cavalry all come in this like chainmail. A similar layout, but what it looks like they've done is you've got your infantry and you've got your ranged. It looks like they've pulled cavalry out into its separate tree. If we take a look at some of the N tier range, you can see they've been overhauled now to be in this kind of like a plate style, whereas it was just a basic chainmail. You have skirmishers that are also in this kind of style armor. This looks more like a leathery style armor. And then we got some infantry here with the plating. Who's got a nice cape. So this is one of the cavalry troop trees that has been well, you can see it's the similar style. Plating gets heavier. You start off with more of a like leathery style look, gone into like a basic chainmail sort of thing, and then before you know it, you're in full plate. So next up, we got the default Battanian troop tree. As you can see, the thing I wonder about the Battanians is, are they not inspired by sort of Celtic background? In which case, if this mod is based on 11th century, I wonder what they've done with the Battanian troop tree as were the Celtic people still sort of a thing, because at this point, 11th century, the UK would have been taken over multiple times at this point. You would have had the Normandy invasion. But we'll take a look at the new Battanian troop tree. So you can see the archer line, got some skirmishers, and holy, they are some big javelins, my friend. They are some big old javelins. But you can see it looks like they've modernized them a little bit with the plating and stuff. They've still got the old Battanian like cloaks sort of thing, the fur cloaks. But it looks like with the plating and stuff like that, that the faction's been a bit modernized and not quite as Celtic looking. We also have the archer line, which would be this would normally be the champions, but they've been renamed and slightly redesigned. See, you can see here, so this is the base game one. You got this armor, you have this kind of thick cloak around them. They have a two-handed and a bow. And if we take a look at this one, you can see it's pretty similar. They've just changed the cloak a bit, so the armor's more visible. The weapons are slightly different. So it's like I've been saying throughout this video, this troop mod, it doesn't bring in any external armories or any assets like that. It's just someone who's tried to be resourceful with what they've been given and use the base game to change all the troop trees to how they wanted to fit in with their theme. So last up we have the Aserai. Their base game troop tree is very simple. You become a two-handed infantry or ranged cavalry. And then on the other side you become a one-handed and shield or an archer. So if we take a look at the Aserai troop tree, it's a bit more split in this one. I don't know if it's just because the troop tree was so wide that it wouldn't have fit on the screen. But it's been split into cavalry, archers, and infantry. So this time round, you have to hit a tier 3 infantry before you can decide whether you want to make them a two-handed, a skirmisher, or a spear. You can see the armors are more fitting in with the area they're from. This would be like the bulk, the heavy enforcer unit, the plating. Skirmishers are traveling a bit lighter. Although the skirmisher only has 2 javelins. And then you see here as well, you got the plating of the armor to protect you. Then you got a bit of a cloth to fit in with location-wise. Here you got the archers. And then here we have the Aserai cavalry, which are all entirely ranged. They're all entirely archer cavalry. But they also come with a lance. No one-handed or anything like that, so kill the horse, and I think they're pretty much guaranteed to be dead. We also have this separate troop tree then for infantry, which is now your new one-handed shield. So this has just been a quick look into the Blood, Shit and Iron Troop Overhaul mod. It's a nice simple mod. It's good if you like base game Bannerlord and you don't want... It's a really small download, so you don't have to worry about that. It pretty much uses the base game, so if you enjoy the base game now, you're probably going to enjoy this mod. It just adds a bit of a variety to the troops and rebalances them and everything, and creates their own mini theme sort of thing with the troops. When you download the mod and you enable it on the mod menu, it's actually quite modular, so similar to the More Troops mod I did the other day. You can toggle which ones you want, so if you don't want the Battanian overhaul and you prefer the normal Battanian, you can just turn that one off. But if you like the new Sturgia instead of the old one, just slap that one on. So you can mix and match with what ones you want to turn on. As I said, in the beginning. They are working on overhauling minor factions, so I believe that'd be looters, bandits. But that's it for this mod spotlight. As always, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, see ya!